DJ to the mixer, from my fingers to the fader. Raise your hands up to the speakers. You are here to entertain us. From the DJ to the mixer, from my fingers to the fader. Raise your hands up to the speakers, because this is for the ragers. From the DJ to the mixer, from my fingers to the fader. Raise your hands up to the speakers. You are here to entertain us.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone to TCNewTech. We're back to a mostly virtual event, and it may have thrown us off our game a little bit. We didn't have a lot of lead time, but we saw what was going on with people getting sick and people doing a lot of traveling and a lot of one-on-one connections, and thought it best if we go back to a virtual event for one more month. So here we are. And we got to give a shout out to those people that are watching via YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and the group over at Middle Coast Brewing. Cheers to all of you. And thank you for being there. TCNewTech, as you know, is a community of tech enthusiasts, businesses, entrepreneurs, and Michigan policymakers. We strive to build a culture of innovation, economic growth, and opportunity for the talent in the Traverse City region. So we are going to bring up for you, this is our schedule. We'll have 5-minute pitches, followed by 5 minutes of Q&A from the audience. We'll have, if anyone has announcements or updates to make, they can put them in the comments section. We also have some announcements from our sponsors. We'll be hearing from them. So be sure to put hashtag TCNewTech Live in the comments section to be entered for our drawing. We'll be giving away at the end of the night to our audience one lucky winner, a $25 gift card for Middle Coast Brewing Company. So be sure to stay to the end of the presentation and find out if you won. You do have to be present to win. And now I'm going to bring on, we were testing her mic a little earlier and not sure if that's working, but we're trying some new things out. It's a new year. Here we go. We're blaming everything on the pandemic. Lisa, do we have volume now? Okay, we do not. We do not have volume. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to put you back in the green room and keep working on it. You're lovely as always. We appreciate you being our supporting sponsor. She works at Access Point. She's a business consultant there, and she will help you with, she's got all kinds of great resources for your business so that you can be working on your business. So we're going to remove Lisa from the screen right now, and we're going to move on with our program. Looks like I'm the MC for tonight. So TCNewTech, we are supported by our sponsors and by our members. And annual membership is only $20. And if you become a member, you get one of those cool t-shirts. They are available. All you have to do is scan that code or to go on our website, tcnewtech.org. TCNewTech.org and get a sign up for your membership. We also have to thank a new sponsor for 2022 that we're really excited about. Our main sponsor is the new Bar Hopper app, and they are kind of using TCNewTech as a launching pad for their app, and it's a way to find new drinking establishments in your area. So stay tuned for more information on those guys. Our pitch prize sponsor, Shift Chiropractic, another new sponsor for us this year. And they are a chiropractic center here in Traverse City, but they're really technology minded. And they're doing what they can in order to help you stay healthy and recover, stay pain-free in a more natural way, but also using some technology. So we'll have information about them as time progresses. And once we're back to in person, they're going to actually be at our pitch events to share their information. So I highly recommend that you go to their website, Shift Chiropractic, Traverse City. Here we come. Next up is our first presenter, Dennis Nash. Welcome, Dennis.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Let me get a screen up.
And Dennis was a participant in 20 Fathoms Health Spark accelerator program last year and did very well and has learned a lot, I think. And we're excited to hear his pitch.
I'd like to be sharing it, but it's not letting me click on it now, even though it worked 5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago.
Let's see. Let me try one more time here. Share screen. Yes, I really do. I think it's going to work now. Maybe. Is that not working?
Well, while we're waiting for Dennis, let's people that are watching and can make comments. Let us know where you are watching from. Are you on your phone? Are you watching on the big screen at Middle Coast Brewing? Are you in Traverse City or are you some other part of the world? Type it in the comments so we know who's on. I see Nick is on. Thanks, Nick, for being here. Russ Schindler, always glad to have you back. Cleon, thank you for being here. And thank you for participating in our contest. Enter in the comments, hashtag TCNewTech Live, and you'll be entered for our drawing to win a prize. All right, Dennis, why don't we put you back in the green room and we'll move on to our next presenter. We'll come back to you.
I'm going to log out and
Okay. Okay, next up we have Chuck Meek. Oh, hold on, Chuck, you are still muted.
L3C. I've been a business consultant for about 20 years, working primarily with private middle market family-owned businesses, primarily industrial sector. Two things that I've taken away over the last 20 years have been the power of alliances and joint ventures to fill in those cracks that you don't fill yourself. And the other is to talk about finding a niche in the marketplace that needs a solution and coming up with an innovative way to do that. Traditionally, while I click a couple of buttons. Traditionally, when an organization sees a problem in the marketplace, it is on its own and coming up with the financing, the research and the market research studies, et cetera, to make that happen. What I've decided to do is launch a new marketplace using the low profit limited liability structure. It's an L3C. And what it does is it aligns collaborative resources to solve a specific problem. So it's particularly attractive in that it magnetizes the joint venture so that private capital, such as private foundations, social impact investors, et cetera, are attracted to collaborate with others who have the research capabilities and the market presence. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to assume that everyone watching this is familiar with PFAS, the forever chemicals that were made famous so far in the movie Dark Waters, the story of Rob Ballat, the attorney who took on DuPont for the PFAS compounds contaminating the landscape here in West Virginia, southeastern Ohio. I put this up here. This is a data map, a heat map from Aquasana they have on their website. I put it up here because I wanted to show that data can be misleading. We all know that PFAS are ubiquitous. They're all over the place. If you look at this map, you would see that Michigan looks horrible. Michigan looks like it has a huge problem. And yet the data really show, if you look at this, that this is what everyone will find when they start looking as earnestly as the state of Michigan has. For instance, look at West Virginia. These two dots are basically the scene settings for that movie. This is where all that PFAS is in the water that Mark Ruffalo found and Rob Ballat found, et cetera. But the map doesn't show that. What this shows is that if you're going to look for it, you're going to find it. All of these vast expanses of blue means they really haven't started looking for it yet. So the crisis is there. We just need to know how to look at the data. This is another graphic. This is a rather eye-pleasing graphic that comes up. But what I wanted to highlight on this one is that this can also be a bit misleading, and that if you peel away the onion a bit, you can see that, for instance, in landfills, here we have a very innocuous-looking downward arrow that shows the leachate coming out of landfills. Now, the leachate is the fluid that leaks out of a landfill. It's a witch's brew of everything that the water leaks into the landfill, and inevitably, every landfill will leak in some way, shape, or form. That leachate that leaks out is that witch's brew that contains PFAS and a whole host of other contaminants. So what this doesn't really say strongly enough is that landfills are an enormous problem for PFAS. They're also an opportunity because they concentrate where the PFAS actually are. And if we can figure out a way to contain it, isolate it within that landfill, we have a chance of solving the problem going forward. Let's talk about the market for this. The market that we're talking about is for the testing, sample collection and testing in the field. The traditional supply-demand chart graph shows a price point equilibrium. When supply equals demand, you have a price point that balances them out. What we have right now with the growing demand for testing for PFAS in the marketplace is we have this blue demand side shifting to the right, which is going to push the price point equilibrium up. What we don't have is a corresponding shift of the red supply curve shifting to the right as well. Yes, that will shift the price point up, but more importantly for us, it exacerbates this shortage down here. There isn't enough testing capacity in the existing infrastructure for us to be able to test what we need to determine how big the problem is. So what we're going to talk about tonight for just a little bit is an alternative to the traditional testing. All right, we're not here to replace the current testing infrastructure. It's absolutely critical. We need to augment it. So what we are going to do, apply the L3C model to go from the status quo of these fixed brick and mortar laboratories that have these liquid chromatographers and tandem mass spectrometers in them that are extraordinarily sensitive. So the PFAS that we're testing out there, we're looking for parts per trillion, single-digit parts per trillion. To put that in perspective, normally we're looking for contaminants in parts per million, parts per billion, orders of magnitude more sensitive. If you were to stand next to an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and then you double that swimming pool, so you have 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools, you take an eyedropper of PFAS, you drop it in this end of the pool, you have now contaminated those 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools with 70 parts per trillion, which is the upper threshold of what the EPA says we should be bringing into our body over the course of our lifetime. So when we're looking for these extraordinarily small quantities, we need to be able to have mass spectrometry, we need to be able to have the liquid chromatography, and we need the capacity to test everything that needs to be tested. The way we normally do it is we'll go out in the field, a field technician will grab a water sample, cap it up very carefully. This is extraordinarily sensitive to contamination. Ship it on ice overnight to a fixed laboratory like we saw before. Maybe it's in California, maybe it's somewhere around the country. But the problem is we have a fixed capacity of those brick and mortar labs. There's an Ottoman Turkish proverb that says, maybe you've heard of it, that if the mountain will not come to Muhammad, Muhammad will have to go to the mountain. Well, that's what we're doing here. We're taking that mass spectrometer from the fixed laboratory and put it into a mobile unit to take it out to a hub and spoke model so that we can identify the hot spots in the environment that need closer attention. So this mobile PFAS testing lab is actually something we could do right now. What we need to do is take the mass spectrometers, ruggedize them a bit, put them into the back of a trailer, take them out of the lab and put them in the trailer, and then we can go and park it, and we go from there in a hub and spoke model with our technicians who collect the samples, bring it here. We do the testing here close to in situ rather than shipping it via courier on ice overnight across the country. Now, we could do it right now with enough capital because the issue that we have is that we need to calibrate that machine every time we move it. So you don't want to move that trailer too often, but you do want to move it or have the capacity to do it once in a while. There are precedents for this. We do it now with mobile MRI labs. We currently take these very sensitive magnetometers within an MRI machine. We park it next to a hospital. We take care of all of the patients in that area that need an MRI, and then we move on to the next one so that that one hospital doesn't need to have a permanent MRI lab all the time. We can do the same thing with our PFAS detection equipment as well. This is our goal, our holy grail. This is what's really exciting about the PFAS model in the L3C. We're calling this a PFAS. Now, this is my pH meter that I take out into the field with me. All right. What we would like to do is take that fixed brick and mortar laboratory, take it into the mobile units in the back of those trailers, and then we really want to work on this. And this is where we're bringing in the academia and the industrialists. We're going to need nanotechnology because we have to miniaturize this so much we'll have to go nano. We may need quantum computing or at least quantum theory in trying to predict where the hotspots are going to be and where the precursors and proxies are for the carbon fluorine bonds that we have to find in the field. So this becomes that variable in that model that we talked about in solving for X. In this case, we're going to bring in PFAS, which is that handheld model. We're going to employ the academics. We have strong relationships with the University of Chicago, the Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering, Argonne National Laboratories. We're in discussions with Michigan Tech University. Northwestern Michigan College has the Freshwater Studies Institute. So the academic research is there, it's willing. The industry is there. We have the commercialized technology that we can bring. Now we bring in the private capital or the private foundations. We have the social impact investors who have in their mission statements stewardship of the environment. So this becomes a project that an impact investor can resonate with. There's a certain subset of the private foundations that have either mission-related or program-related investments that this pertains to. This is attractive to them as well for the tax advantages that brings. In addition, this joint venture platform it also qualifies for the R&D tax credit from the IRS. So the Internal Revenue Code Section 41 says that everything you put into R&D is a tax credit, not a tax deduction. It's a credit, dollar for dollar. So the economic model for this is very, very favorable from a tax advantage standpoint. My ask for you this evening is a cup of coffee. If you're familiar with impact investing, if you're familiar with philanthropy, with private foundations, with program or mission-related investments, if you're familiar with sponsored research at the national laboratories, if you're familiar with applied research at academic institutions, universities, and colleges, if you are familiar with commercializing technology, I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to have a cup of coffee with you and explain more fully than we can do in these 5 minutes here as to how this model could work to collaborate and bring a solution to the environment. Thank you for your time. I'm open for any questions.
Great, Chuck. Thank you so much. Glad that you gave that presentation. And we do have a couple questions. Here's one right here from Russ Schindler. What is the technology used in the handheld device?
In the what, Russ?
In the handheld device that you mentioned.
In the handheld device, it's going to be a miniaturized version of mass spectrometry and liquid chromatography. We're not there yet. It needs to be vastly miniaturized. So we need to bring the sponsored and applied research into that, basically using mass spectrometry and liquid chromatography for the same purpose. Okay,
great. Let's see. Ben Marshall was asking, he wants to know, what is your ask? What exactly are you looking for?
My ask is to put together the collaborators from private capital, from academia, and from industry to talk about how this joint venture model could work and what everyone needs to take from it and what everyone can contribute to it. At this point, for instance, the immediate need for capital would be putting this into those trailers if we so chose to do it. If we wanted to go straight to the handheld and go straight for the pure sponsored research route, then we have to develop those relationships with the scientists and the postdoc and the graduate students at the academic institutions to go from there. So my ask right now, quite frankly, is a cup of coffee.
Okay, good. So the next question is, how is this proprietary?
Frankly, it's not. It's not proprietary. This is almost as open architecture, open sourcing, crowdsourcing as you can get, and still have it under the umbrella of an organization with a tax advantage status. So the problem with sponsored research, especially when you start dealing with federal grants, is when something becomes very sophisticated, becomes very sensitive, the government has a tendency to gobble it up and turn it black, whether to use the intelligence community term for it. They bring it in and they choke it off from the light. What we need to do is continue to attract the appropriate relevant players who have a vested interest in stewarding the environment and create a platform for them to collaborate openly and with a financial benefit to all if that's in their mission statement. But I can't point to anything that's proprietary in this, and that's largely on purpose.
Okay. So our next question is, what are your plans to scale?
The solve for X model can take any variable and plug it in for X. Right now, we're talking about PFAS as the variable, which is our X right now, solving for X. Let's take another variable. Let's say they're harmful algae blooms. That's a separate group of collaborators that worry about harmful algae blooms and can do something about it. We go to invasive species in the Great Lakes. Maybe you can go outside of the environment. You can put X in with any variable that you wish to define. It can be children's literacy. It can be hunger, homelessness, affordable housing. I choose to focus in as much as I can on the environment and on fresh water, simply to remain focused. But the model is that you can solve for X, where X is any variable, any human scale issue that you want to solve.
One quick question. This is our last question, then we'll move on. But Bradley wants to know if you can explain a little bit more about the dangers of PFAS.
PFAS are known to be harmful to human health in terms of thyroid cancers. They have birth defects, low birth weights. They're still determining all of the harms to human health that the PFAS compounds cause. They're ubiquitous. They're in everyone's blood. The issue is not how to prevent them from entering the bloodstream anymore. The issue is how to make it so that we can live with this and stop it from getting any worse. There are probably 7 or 8 very specific harms to human health that are listed out there by the WHO and the CDC. But all of them are bioaccumulative, and they stay in your body forever. Your body does not get rid of them. So that eyedropper in the swimming pool analogy is very appropriate because it doesn't take much to have a really serious impact on the human body.
Right. That's super. Well, thanks so much. And there might be a few more questions, but Chuck can go into the comments on afterwards and contact everybody and answer those questions. So thanks so much, Chuck.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good evening.
And we're going to bring back Dennis. And okay. Bring Dennis back on. Dennis.
We're trying. Let's try. Jennifer, I am sorry, but I am clicking on the window icon and it is doing nothing.
That's very strange because we just hit it up. Well, can you give your pitch without that?
Yeah, I can try. Let me try one other thing. Let's see if I can figure this out.
I can also put you back in the green room and you can.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't try anything right now. It's just not working.
And you're hitting the share screen at the bottom, right? Or the share button.
Yep, and options come up, and this time I just can't click on them.
All right, I'm going to put you back in the green room.
Okay.
And in the private chat, we'll give you an email that you could email it to either Lisa or to Josh, and they'll be able to post it for you. So we'll get back to you.
Okay.
So next up, we have an announcement, an update from 20 Fathoms. This is very quick. A little announcement about what's happening over there at 20 Fathoms.
Hi, everyone. This is Carrie Amlott from 20 Fathoms, Traverse City's tech startup incubator and co-working space. As we kick off 2022, I want to quickly share with you 5 things that we've got going on here at 20 Fathoms. First, we have partnered with a local artist. Her name is Lindy Bishop, to exhibit her paintings throughout our co-working space. Lindy's work features colorful landscapes and communities both nearby in northern Michigan and around the world. Stop by our office and take a look. Best of all, these paintings are for sale, and a percentage of the sales will support 20 Fathoms, thanks to the artist's generous donation. Second, it feels early to be talking about summer internships, but students are starting to think about opportunities now. We believe in the value of interns for both employers and students, so we'll be providing free co-working space membership for interns working with our member businesses. Just one more benefit of joining 20 Fathoms. Third, we're offering a winter discount on our dedicated desk co-working space membership. Sign up for 3 months and get a discounted rate of $300 a month. Fourth, we will soon be rolling out a new community partner program for businesses who are interested in supporting our work through a sponsorship. We're offering some great new brand recognition opportunities to connect with our audience. Lastly, don't forget that Northern Michigan Startup Week is coming up in May. Lots more to come on that, but definitely just keep it on your radar for now. To learn more about any of these items, get in touch with me at carrie@20fathoms.org. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, that was a great little update from Carrie. And next up, we have a presentation from Dr. Kevin Pezzi. And it's a unique presentation for us. We've never done this type of a presentation, but we're going to give this a try. It is a little longer video, but sit back and enjoy. It's very well done, and he has a lot of great information.
This pandemic is the biggest problem in the world today. It has inflicted over $20 trillion in economic losses and killed over 5 million people, including 815,000 Americans, more than the total who died in combat during World War I, World War II, and the Civil War. Masks, social distancing, therapeutics, and vaccines poorly control the Delta variant, but are even less effective against Omicron. While it may be a cliche to define insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, it is especially apropos in this case as Americans are more vaccinated than ever before, yet the pandemic is spiraling out of control. As bad as things are now, the world's foremost experts realize that it could evolve into an even greater nightmare as the coronavirus perfects its recipe for spreading, maiming, and killing. Early evidence raises a harrowing possibility that this pandemic may splinter into multiple ones with vaccines and immune protection from one type doing little to protect from others. This could continue to evolve until we have too many variants to feasibly handle. So what are we going to do? Stop ignoring the elephant in the room, which is that we inhale air and germs recently exhaled by others. Children understand why sharing drinking glasses and toothbrushes are risky, but most experts turn a blind eye to the risk of sharing air, pessimistically presuming that problem cannot be vanquished. They're wrong. Early in the pandemic, as various health authorities discouraged mask utilization by the public and created a false sense of security by stressing hand washing, I figured out that this pandemic was largely driven by airborne transmission, frequently from people with few or no symptoms. Realizing this, I knew that we needed a better strategy to defeat this virus, so I designed and built various prototypes to test my ideas. They worked superbly. Some of them can reduce transmission of all airborne pathogens by over 99%. This computer simulation illustrates how exhaled germs diffuse throughout buildings and inevitably into the eyes, nose, or mouth of room occupants. In contrast, when my system is on, exhaled germs are redirected in a safe direction as if they are figuratively discarded in the trash. This is a prototype I built in my garage to test air vectoring. Air emerges from the emitter array and travels vertically downward as shown. I added other innovations to make that possible because without them, air would deflect off the floor and move laterally, which is what we want to avoid. Here I am using an aerosol generator, but I also conducted many tests with smoke, which is even better because its particles are smaller and less gravitationally susceptible, making them a better proxy for the coronavirus aerosols that spread considerably more than 6 feet, thus making that social distancing recommendation not reliably protective. Speaking of it, former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb said the 6-foot guideline was based on politics, not science. This illustrates the general concept, which could be integrated into homes and commercial buildings, or engineered into countless devices pertinent to the specific situation, such as restaurants, schools, offices, and mobile applications for everywhere you go protection. This demonstrates the dramatic difference when my system is switched on, here using smoke to substitute for pathogenic aerosols. The difference between breathing in smoke or clean air analogizes the hazard of breathing air contaminated with SARS-CoV-2 or other germs versus the safety of inhaling clean air. In actual use, my method of active air vectoring would always be on, and hence would be even more effective. To achieve this and to enable everywhere you go protection, I developed a spectrum of innovations that collectively could quickly end this pandemic and prevent subsequent ones, as well as free us from the perennial threat of other airborne pathogens that cause considerably more problems than most people realize. The other videos posted on ProgressShack.com present some of the research corroborating this. People usually presume that if they survive an infection, they fully recover without lingering adverse effects. Scientists are accumulating increasing evidence that this isn't true, instead discovering that infections slowly chip away at health and accelerate aging, as well as triggering cognitive deterioration, often with alarming decrements, especially in the case of COVID-19. Moreover, infections that are apparently trivial in adults can trigger devastating birth effects that profoundly affect not only bodies but also brains and behavior, some of which has been specifically linked to criminal activity. If you wonder what ultimately triggers school shootings and similarly incomprehensible behavior, this is one of the root causes. My innovations could also significantly minimize exposure to air pollution that shortens lifespan by an average of a few years, and much more in polluted areas. Crucially, air pollution not only cuts lives short, but also accelerates aging inside and out so that you look and feel old sooner. Air pollution is a thief that robs us of what we value most. This is a portable air curtain device I made to protect me during a dental visit. It could also be used while dining in restaurants. I had a hunch about how to make filter media considerably more effective and eventually found a pre-pandemic NASA paper discussing that technique, which can make filters over 1,000 times more effective. This prototype incorporates that concept, which is so powerful that even common fabrics can reliably safeguard from airborne pathogens, thus providing a practical way to circumvent the ongoing shortage and expense of advanced filter media. After making that prototype, I thought of how to miniaturize and enhance its functionality so it could be integrated into clothing such as headbands. Facial air curtains can be made substantially more protective using various innovations not shown in these pictures. The bottom line is this. After implementing my innovations, we won't need to mandate masks now that the ones most commonly worn are little more than facial decorations after emergence of the more transmissible Omicron variant, according to CNN's medical analyst Dr. Lena Wen. We won't need to pretend that social distancing works or to hope that iffy vaccines and therapeutics keep us healthy because they strike out too often. Instead, we can attend school, work, shop, dine in restaurants or bars, go to the gym, or anywhere else with virtually complete safety. Just as a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, I created several ways to encourage adoption of my technology by optionally enabling homes and other buildings to be more enjoyable and functional, such as providing new ways to have fun, exercise, and a vastly quicker way to clean, as if the futuristic world of the Jetsons were here today. As two of the many commercial possibilities, imagine the competitive advantage a restaurant chain would have if it licensed my technology and others didn't, or the hiring and retention advantages of employers able to offer workers a much safer environment than is possible with masks, yet with none of their drawbacks. Similarly, schools and colleges could safeguard educators and staff without masks that are not dangerous but increase carbon dioxide levels enough to impair learning, as various researchers reported, as I discussed on ProgressShack.com. President Biden said there is no federal solution to this pandemic, but there could be because many leaders have stressed the need to upgrade our infrastructure, and this is the infrastructure we need most. My innovations put us in a very advantageous position. Instead of constantly trying to play catch up, they are ready to neutralize the threat of future variants before they evolve, protecting us from all airborne infectious diseases no matter how they mutate. The focus of technology should be solving problems to improve lives, but the current approaches to mitigating this pandemic leave us beleaguered by a tsunami of bad news and restrictions that compelled even Bill Gates to cancel his holiday plans. It's ironic that a man who can figuratively move mountains is shackled because he can't figure out how to move a few micrograms of viral particles away from him. I can, but in a cruel twist of fate, he has the money and I have the ideas, but not the money to commercialize them. The World Health Organization said we can't boost our way out of this pandemic, but we can end it with innovation. Let's do it. How do you know that moving air will move airborne pathogens like SARS-CoV-2? The coronavirus does not have energy reserves or machinery giving it the ability to generate thrust, so it always passively follows air currents. Every physical object that travels in air is affected by its movement. This applies to single atoms and molecules, as well as leaves, dust, snow, rain, baseballs, bullets, and even large commercial aircraft that can be slammed into the ground by microbursts, also known as downbursts or downdrafts. One example is the microburst that downed Delta Airlines Flight 191, killing 137 people, including Don Estridge, known as the father of the IBM PC. Air currents especially affect lightweight objects such as respiratory droplets and aerosols emitted when people speak, sneeze, cough, or just breathe. Consequently, even slight wind or other air currents can substantially affect translocation of respiratory plumes that may contain viruses or other infectious agents. Consequently, I turn the coronavirus's greatest strength into its Achilles heel, using that weakness as one of my primary ways to block its transmission.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Dr. Pezzi. We appreciate the presentation and your great ideas. We don't have any time for Q&A, but there are some questions posted in the comments. So he'll be able to come on to each of the social media and answer those questions for you. Or you can contact him at the information that he gave. So now we're going to continue with our program. And I'm going to bring on Brian Cloud and Catherine Palms from Wellbeing. And here we go.
All right. Can you hear us?
Sure can.
Great.
Excellent. Let me get a share going here.
Are you going to share your program? You are going to share? Okay, good.
We should be. Give us one moment.
Dennis, I feel for you.
We really do practice this too. Okay, it's coming through.
All right.
All right.
Looks good, guys.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, Catherine, I'm frustrated. I want to hire someone for personal training, but to do it, I have to search on Google. I have to do Facebook for recommendations. It really creates a highly complex and time-intensive process. I know what I'm looking for, but it's just so tedious to find it. Then I just give up and don't want to do it.
Well, Brian, there's an app for that, where searching, scheduling, and payments are made easy with clear communication. It's called Wellbeing Connect.
We're the co-founders of Wellbeing Connect, a streamlined, inclusive platform connecting clients, professionals, and venues to facilitate physical wellness services in an ad hoc fashion. Excuse me. I'm Brian. I'm a technologist with a business focus.
And I'm Catherine, a registered yoga teacher with a passion for encouraging people to feel empowered about taking care of their health. Over the past 5 years, I've been working towards my goal of launching a wellness center in Leona County. However, through that effort, I discovered a completely different need. During this time, I helped organize a wellness collective, and then I became a contact for individuals looking for wellness experiences. For instance, a woman in Northport was seeking a yoga class at her lake house once a week all summer. Numerous bachelorette parties were looking for an instructor to come to their vacation rental for a specific class and specific dates. Wineries were seeking instructors to offer yoga on their properties. And I was continuously tagged on social media posts for people searching for individuals looking for instructors and massage therapists in our area. In each of these cases and others, it became clear that there had to be a better solution to avoid the current struggles to connect clients, professionals, and venues. After extensive research, we found no existing platform offering the streamlined services required to solve the issue. While there are prominent players offering B2B solutions in the marketplace, we found nothing focused on connecting consumers directly to wellness professionals, and various vetted venues or personal locations. We have conducted market research to learn that many venues are attempting to introduce wellness experience, but most are having little to limited success due to the management and staffing required to do the heavy lifting. We also found that most wellness professionals are already offering one-off and pop-up classes on their own, but in smaller capacity than they would like due to the challenges associated with connecting to clients.
So for this, what we've done is we've developed a three-sided marketplace for clients who are looking for personalized wellness experiences, wellness professionals looking for new opportunities and additional sources of income, and venues, including hotels, wineries, or any kind of property with space to offer that are interested in providing more experiences for guests and being considered a wellness venue. To facilitate this, we use smart algorithms for connecting clients to wellness experiences to match their set parameters, including geolocation, wellness activity type, experience level, intensity, and budget, all while providing clear communications to all parties involved and easy pay flow structures. There are two ways a client interacts with the app. In the first, the client may submit a request for a service where they set their required and optional parameters, and the app then finds appropriate matches and submits to those professionals to accept the job. Or, in a second method, Wellbeing Connect shows available venues and experiences, and the client selects the desired options and manages their reservation. Professionals are able to build their profile and select what and where they would like to offer services at their own pricing structures. Venues similarly build their profiles for their available spaces, selecting things like time, space size, and allowed activities. Both professionals and venues easily track their schedules, reservations, and most importantly, payments received.
Ensuring that this app stays at a high level is important to us. We want to make sure all users feel confident and that their experience will be the best. Professionals and venues alike will be vetted prior to acceptance to joining our app. We also have multi-tiered feedback rating system to ensure that the app stays at the high level we expect.
On the backside, reporting and analytics will allow us growth opportunities in the future. Anything from marketing assistance programs offered to professionals to complete white-labeled wellness programs for venues and corporations are all on our radar.
As we previously shared, we recognize the need in the Grand Traverse region, but the best news is this concept doesn't stop there. We intend to replicate this concept in regions similar to Grand Traverse area, focusing on tourism-rich, medium-sized markets with over 1 million visitors per year and numerous boutique properties. These are just the initial launch markets. As our app increases, so will our base, allowing the app to grow naturally.
So where are we now? We have completed our planning phase and have full wireframes ready to start back-end development. We have already established a number of launch partners from the wellness, professional, and venue communities. We anticipate launching this app in 2022. So where are we? We're currently looking to finish our family and friends round to launch our app. The round is for $2 million, being used for initial and ongoing development, technology fees, business costs, and marketing spend. Based on our conservative projections, this allows us a significant runway to reach our point of profitability during year 2 and see large-scale growth years 3 through 5.
We plan to build and launch this app in the Grand Traverse market, hiring from the local development talent pool. This allows us to not only bring valuable tech jobs to the area, but provide important wellness opportunities for clients and a new revenue stream for our wellness professionals and venues. So, will you join us in our mission to put the power of personalizing well-being in the palm of everyone's hands?
Thank you, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Okay, great job, you guys. And we do have some questions. Ben Marshall, he loves the idea, and he wondered if you have a platform already in production.
No, we're not currently in production yet. Where we are is we have completed our wireframes and our technical architecture, and we're ready to begin our actual back-end development.
Okay, so then apparently you don't have any customers or revenue yet then.
Correct, yeah, we're pre-revenue.
Okay.
We do actually, in a way, have customers. We already have gone out and we've already worked with acquiring several launch partners on both the wellness professional and venue side of things. So once the app is ready, we already have folks to come on board.
Okay, that's exciting. And how do you ascertain your clients? That's one of the questions here. How much does that cost to become a member or use the app?
Yeah, so the app is free for our clients. The wellness professionals and the venues, there is a fee to be a part of the app from that side, and from a Wellbeing Connect perspective, we're bringing a part of our revenue off some service fees that are charged for each of the experiences and services offered.
And with those fees comes in transaction management, a lot of back-end services that we'll provide for the venues and the wellness professionals. So our membership option also creates a really great opportunity for those professionals.
What we found, as Catherine mentioned a bit ago, is many of the venues, especially, they already want to do certain things like this. However, the management and staffing required to manage not just the activities and scheduling, but also the revenue management is sometimes cost prohibitive from especially smaller boutiques and wineries from having such a program. So being a part of the application actually assists them to have their own wellness programs.
Okay. And so we're getting a couple questions about people that want to become beta testers, or they want to know how they can join the waiting list. So can you tell us that?
That's so great. Yeah, actually today we launched our website. We have a spot there where you guys can submit kind of an info to stay in the loop of what we're working on. We're always open to conversations and also looking still for our investors.
And then once the app finishes development, we'll have alpha and beta, and clearly we'll be looking to that community that's already showing interest to help us test and bring it to market.
We know feedback's a gift.
Okay, good. And let's see, one more. Who would your competitors be?
We've done extensive research in this, and as we kind of mentioned, there's other large competitors that are offering this business to business, but the hardest part about this concept is there really isn't someone doing what we would like to do. So my goal and my dream is we're not competing with local yoga studios. Those should exist. Those should be excelling as much as they are. I really appreciate those areas. We're creating an entirely new opportunity for venues that can create some new income, wellness professionals that can create extra income, and then clients that are already looking for these things in the area but just haven't been able to find it in a streamlined process.
There's folks that are operating in the B2B market. There's some large players there, but no one's really operating in the B2C market that we're trying to attack here. Okay,
good. And what's the website URL? Why don't we put that in the comments?
Sure, mywellbeingconnect.com.
mywellbeingconnect.com.
Jen, are you posting that?
I just posted it.
Perfect.
Yes. That just
we also have Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn.
Yeah, so watch us anywhere.
Okay, good. All right, that's awesome. Well, you guys did a great job. And you're all set then. Let's take you off, and we'll bring on our next presenter.
I thought people can see our high five.
All right. We're going to bring up Bradley. He's supposed to be last, but we kind of have gotten out of order, and he's been waiting so patiently. So we're going to bring Bradley on the screen here. Hi, Bradley. Thanks for your patience, and let me get your presentation pulled up here. Bradley Finkbeiner, and he's from Kingsley, correct?
Yes.
Kingsley, Michigan, and very interesting product. When your application came through, I thought it was more of a deodorizing system, so it made a lot of sense to bring it to a health and wellness pitch event. It's a twist on that, but it's still very important. So we're glad you're here, and why don't you go ahead and tell your story?
So agreed with your introduction, and I did hear you on WTCM this afternoon, and you were a little lighter than that. There was a lot of giggles as things were going on. So as we can see, she's posted up some pictures here of my bathroom deodorizing system, which is called No More Mr. Stinko, which is a registered U.S. trademark. Also has a U.S. patent and a second patent in production right now that should be coming very shortly. So what the device does is it removes the odor from the commode and elevates it up to the exhaust fan so that it doesn't have to travel from the commode to the exhaust fan through the air, thus leaving the bathroom malodorous. So what I will do is I'm going to take my phone and disconnect the power so I can walk back and show you the actual working device. Now, also, while I'm getting back here, I want you to understand that I've got a number of drawings that are posted that can be seen in the comments, but I also have a commercial version, which is stainless steel, that is in design and development. And it would be more for like professional offices. It would be commonplace in professional offices once we get this product to market. So, Jennifer, remind me, how do I switch the camera angle?
All right, I'm gonna defer to the audience. Actually, Josh Paul from AK Productions, he is the one who will remember, because we did this the other day, or maybe it was Catherine Palm that shared how.
Oh, I know what it was. Cam and Mike camera. And can you still see me?
Yeah, I can.
Let me front facing. All right.
Good. That looks good.
But I can't see it.
That's okay. Just tell us. You're pointed. You got your toilet right in the middle.
There it is. So the device that I built from hand is attached to the back of the commode. And you can better understand it by looking at the drawings from the patent application. And this would fit on 99% of all commodes that are out there in the marketplace. And then there's a hose that goes over. I've also designed this so the hose can go off either side. Then it goes over to this unit, which you see is mounted to the wall. It's basically like a hair dryer. And it heats the air so that as it goes up the tube and gets to the ceiling, is routed over to the bathroom fan. And you can see it's pointing right at the fan, which exits the malodorous air from the restroom and makes people comfortable. So a couple of nice features I was thinking about this, doing my presentation about this, is if you've ever been using a restroom at someone else's home, everything's quiet, whatever you're doing in there can be heard. But with No More Mr. Stinko, there's enough noise that you have an even better private situation. I'm going to turn the fan on. So as you can see, that when you turn the bathroom fan on, No More Mr. Stinko comes on as well. And that's because of our patented device within the exhaust fan, and it is typical of most exhaust fans, and allows me to pick up the power from there to drive the unit. And the electrical cord runs through the tubing. And with that, I guess that's the wrap.
That's perfect.
Let's switch my camera. Bear with me.
You're all right. We're gonna yeah, we've got a few comments, questions maybe. So someone wondering if there's a way to hide it, to make it not so prominent in the bathroom. Have you thought about that?
So really good question. Yes, I have drawings and designs for a unit that would be more new construction, that would actually fit in the wall with a plastic square deal that you would see on the wall. And it would have a door that opens and the unit would be stored with inside. And then you could pull the hose and run it right around and go behind the toilet so you wouldn't be seeing the hose. And then that would run up through the wall and would exit either into a cavity or into an attic space. it can be pretty much plumb to go anywhere we need it to go.
Okay, good.
Good question. Thank you.
All right. And so you are looking for investors, manufacturers.
I'm looking for investors and technical consultants or engineering companies to help me design the finished product and make sure that it'll pass a UL or underwriter's laboratory and be safe and be a good product to bring to market. I'm looking to get it into retail packaging and ready to be as seen on TV, available at Walmart, CVS, and pharmacies near you.
Okay, great. And I know you are an inventor. You have several ideas that you've been working on, and some you've brought to market, and some you're still working on. So we look forward to hearing more from you, Bradley.
Yeah, well, since the age of 12, I was fixing bicycles, and I've been repairing cars and building shock absorbers for race cars. And in the auto glass business, I have a couple of patents for moldings for windshields. I've been self-employed my entire life. I'm 69 years old, and this is going to be my swan song.
Okay. I like it. You see a problem and you come up with a solution. And that's what we're all about, is helping people to make connections. So thanks so much, and appreciate you being here.
And do you have contact info up for me?
We do.
Okay. And it can be seen on my website too as well.
Yep. And we did put your website link in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bradley. Oh, we're not quite ready to vote yet. We're actually going to go back to Dennis Nash. One more try. This is going to be good.
So somebody's going to help bring up the charts instead of me.
Yes, here it comes.
Yeah, we need more technically competent folks. I love the wine and yoga idea, and no Mr. Stinko is awesome also. But I appreciate the opportunity to help talk about multiple chronic conditions when you're all ready.
We're ready whenever you are, Dennis.
Okay, well, cool. It's an honor to be here with TCNewTech, and it's a pleasure. I'm Dennis Nash, president and co-founder of Individualytics, which is the blend of individual science, population health science, and AI small data analytics. We were part of the Traverse City 20 Fathoms HealthSpark Accelerator program, which if you're in the digital health space, I highly recommend. Our beachhead market is helping the doctors help patients with 2 or more chronic conditions. That's like diabetes, obesity, depression, anxiety, and others, to get better faster. And the practices earn more, the payers save more, and Individualytics is able to sustain high growth. I really can't see everybody's hands, but how many of you actually know a person with a chronic condition? It's like everybody, right? Well, it turns out we're all living longer. So nearly all of us know people with chronic conditions now. Back about 50 plus years ago, it wasn't as common, but now it's very common because we're just all living longer. And the real challenge is, how do we improve the quality of those longer years with minimum effort and lower cost? And right now, the way the healthcare system is doing it is going to bankrupt our budget in the US and other major countries. Next screen. So there's 58 million patients with multiple chronic conditions, currently representing several hundreds of billions of dollars of care waste every year per Medicare and Medicaid. It's about 40% of the 70 to $2.7 trillion per year. So it's huge. And it turns out the average single medication is only 20% effective for a chronic condition. So we're starting with very low probability of success. And the average multiple chronic condition patient has 3 to 4 conditions, 4 to 6 medications, 4 different doctors, and multiple medical systems, and under 1% initial effectiveness, with many preventative major health events, severe medication side effects, unmet mental health needs, poor quality of life, and you could go on and on. that's how good our current system is. And we've signed up to help make a big transformative change by working closely with doctors and patients. And one big question we get asked is, would patients embrace a solution like this that happens to take less time or about the same time as brushing your teeth each day? And the answer is there are several studies. You can see with the recent growth of telehealth and our own early patient experience, the answer is obviously yes. The key is you got to get very, very patient-centered focus and bring a lot of clinical knowledge to the table and bring the systems together that make this all work, which is what we've signed up for. And it turns out what we're showing is we're reducing doctor office visits. We're doing less trips to the ER, less trips to hospitals, and we're saving patients time, and we're lowering their high out-of-pocket costs and improving their quality of life all at the same time. And so next slide. Our solution uses more clinically meaningful device and patient reported daily data than anyone else. The patients get more great training, education, and support than anyone else. And our IEQ Plus dashboards helps physician and patients more accurately and quickly assess every 2 weeks what set of treatments are really helping that patient get better or worse. And our individualytics care captains, typically RNs or social workers, provide personalized, proven psychological, social, gamification, and health education approaches that helps the patient adhere to this optimal medication and lifestyle treatment that gives them many more years of healthier, high-quality living. Next. We provide a better care team, more accurate data and analytics. We also give them better patient engagement. And it's a comprehensive solution that works with all the certified electronic health record systems, about 100 of them, and brings primary care and specialist chart data together in a new level of optimal care and outcomes for each individual patient, and it scales. Next. Individualytics has demonstrated great outcomes with its initial patients, several of them saying, I haven't felt this good in many years. We have many that reported getting blood sugar levels under control, improving their socialization, improving depression, and seeing that done in many times in under 3 months. And the potential to sustain this over many years is huge. We got to run for many more years to validate that, but that's the journey we're on. And doctors are seeing that we're reducing their time to give care, and at the same time, they're getting better care, and they actually make more profits by doing it this way. Next chart. We recently averaged $150 per patient per month paid by insurers, and we had great patient outcomes. And we're heading towards $250 per patient per month with about $40 of profit. Our contracts are 3 years in length. Authority Health, a community health practice in Detroit, saw Individualytics solution address these key issues and delivered better care than they've seen in anything else. And so, after just 2 months of running, they've asked to grow their patient pool by another 4x, and we anticipate it'll grow even more. And IAQ Plus is a sustainable, unfair competitive advantage for many years. Next. We have a financial plan that we're just starting to see traction on. Next. We have a system that's designed by clinicians for clinicians with great team members in place. We go to the next slide. We have great clinical advisors. Next slide. We have great clinical healthcare business advisors. And last page. I want to really thank you for your interest in creating the next digital health unicorn here in Michigan. And I really appreciate your interest in the mission of helping doctors help patients with multiple chronic conditions get better faster. And I look forward to your questions about competition, investment, customers, or whatever you want to ask about.
Great. Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, sorry we had to rush along at the end.
No, it's a problem. Thank you.
We got a bunch of questions for you.
Sure.
So how is this proprietary?
So we have patent pending in 10 countries around our individual science small data analytics engine. And then we also, as we are collecting data, are developing a trade secret proprietary database that will actually make genetics really meaningful for chronic conditions, because we get these high scores that nobody else has to say, this patient really responded well to metformin. This patient really didn't respond well to metformin. So we have that. And then we basically have a lot of content expertise that nobody else has around multiple chronic conditions. And it
Okay.
scales.
Yeah, and I do have to say, a lot of hands went up when you asked about chronic conditions. There are a lot of comments about that.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's a big
So,
need.
yeah, one more question. Ben Marshall is asking, what data analytics platform is this based on?
So it's a good question. We looked at all the major cloud and analytics engines, and we found for digital health, allowing us to be more HIPAA and security compliant, Amazon's web services gave us several advantages. So we chose them, but we are actually able to easily port to Google or IBM or other cloud platforms. But if you're a startup and you want to be HIPAA compliant, Amazon gives you a lot of advantages and good cost point.
That's true. And Dr. Pezzi asked, he says much of medical practice involves managing patients with multiple chronic conditions. What does your proposal do that doctors don't already learn during medical school and residency?
So interestingly, the healthcare system is based on acute care, and it's only been like in the last 50 years that chronic care has kind of really been morphed into our primary care models and hospital systems. And it turns out, because the average med only works for about 20% of the patients, we're not that good at it. But what happens as soon as you go to the second condition and second med, you're down to 4% effectiveness. As soon as you go to the third, which is the average, you're down to less than 1% effectiveness. And the doctors all know this, and they're not very good at integrating mental health care or social care or quality of life care. So the answer to your question, Dr. Pezzi, is we're helping them power up that data to get closer to 99% accuracy for each individual patient by collecting more data and evaluating it every 2 weeks, one patient at a time. And we've just figured out how to do that very time efficiently. And it actually saves the doctor per patient about a half hour of time, roughly 25%. So this is fixing the burden issue that's on doctors, at the same time making them more money and giving better care. Good question.
I can see that too. Mike Grollo, how many participants do you currently have? He'd like to know.
So we've done 3 cohorts of patients. The first 2 cohorts were 3 patients each. The cohort we're doing right now with Authority Health is 20 and about to go to 100. And then we've got a few hundred more set up with a few more doctors here in Michigan. So we're actually a doctor provider group, and we partner with the doctors to make this easy for them.
Okay, good. One last real quick question. How will the data be stored so it's not sold or shared?
So we have a very secure lockdown data lake repository, and we have agreements with the patients, the doctors, and all of our partners to follow HIPAA and what's called business associate agreements to make this very secure and focus on the patient's success and do continuous improvement.
Okay. We have a couple more questions, but we're running out of time. So
my contact information is right on the screen. So I
yes.
welcome any calls or emails, and happy to help with follow-up.
Great. And also you can jump on to the comment section and respond to the questions there. Great. Thanks so much. And next up is the most exciting time of the evening. It's time for voting. So we're going to start the voting right now. And I'm going to share my screen. With it's going to ticker across the bottom, but here's how you do it. And we'll put this in the comments too. I'll have Sarah Hunt, who's working on the back end with us tonight. She can enter this information in the comments as well so that you can see that, how to vote. Text the number 203-529-8755. And if you're voting for Dennis Nash, you type in AA. If Chuck Meek, it's BB, Dr. Pezzi is CC, and so on. You guys get it. So type that in to your phone after you're texting. And while that's happening, we are going to see a quick little update from Michigan's Creative Coast. They do a great job on these videos. Makes me just happy that I live here, and hopefully anybody else that sees it would want to live here. Here's a quick little video, very short. Okay, isn't that great? I love that video. But we want to say thank you to our supporting sponsors. And Susan Safradini-Rouser, her insurance agency has been a supporting sponsor of TCNewTech for a few years now. And she always shows up. We appreciate her so much. And hey, if you stop by her office on 8th Street, she'll give you a free cup of coffee too. And the SCORE mentors, they have great information for entrepreneurs and for startups. They support TCNewTech. Our in-kind sponsors are so important to us. We just added Boho Marketing, so you'll see some new things happening to promote TCNewTech. AK Productions, that's Josh, who's in the back end here tonight, and all the others that help us. We appreciate so much. And our main sponsor, Bar Hopper, I can't wait to tell you more about that. They're going to be launching soon. Reminder that we have a job board. And if you go to tcnewtech.org, job board, you'll find it there. And let me see if I can bring up who our winner is. Okay. And there you have it. Our winner tonight is Wellbeing Connect. Yay. Let's bring on Catherine and Brian. I'll remove that. And there you guys are. You can squeeze into one screen now.
Thank
There
you,
we go.
everybody. I can't hear. Oh, shoot. Hold on.
We can hear you.
Yeah. We're in a room with other contenders, so we had our stuff muted. But what did we miss?
No, we're just so happy that you won, and we're excited to see what's next for you guys.
Thank you very much. We're really excited.
Yeah,
as
we're
well.
excited to get the show on the road and get this app out there. It'd be good for the community as from a development perspective, and for investors and everyone alike.
Well, and I know you guys are regular attenders at TCNewTech, and we appreciate that. So you're inspiring others by getting this launched, and we'll keep an eye on what's next for you.
Thank you. I'm also
Thanks.
a big fan of Shift Chiropractic, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Okay, that works out perfect.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys. If you have any announcements, things that you think the TCNewTech audience should know about, please go ahead and add those to the comments, and we'll make sure that gets around. And we had a drawing. I got to let you know. Let me draw. We had all kinds of entries, and it's randomly selecting a name. Here it comes. The winner, James Hall. James Hall, are you still online with us? All right, James, if you're still with us, I want to make sure that you send me an email with your address in it, and I'm going to type in my email address right now. While I'm doing this, everybody else can be scanning to apply to pitch or become a member, right? Okay, it was a unique night tonight. My first time as the MC, and without my buddy Lisa or Sarah, one of the other MCs. They're so great to work with. And I want to thank you all. Spread the word, and we'll see you in February. Keep watching. Our information comes out all the time so that we know when we confirm if we're going to be back to in person. Hopefully we will be. But if not, sounds like Middle Coast was kind of a fun place to be. I wish I could have been there tonight. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's a wrap.